It is the Fantasy Rugby Yanks. My name is Jared Dyke. I wanted to say it's stupid and let's move on, but then you kept going.
I'm Ben Glauser. I don't like any way anybody handled that.
Collusion. Hello, everybody. It is the Fantasy Rugby Yanks. My name is Jared Dyke.
I'm Ben Glauser.
Let's get to it. Opening weekend of the Prem. It's in the books, and we got a lot to talk about.
It was mostly on TV.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it wasn't all on TV, but it's still in the books, and we've told everything finally, and yes, many things.
And I do have to apologize. I do have to apologize to the poor Peacock customer service reps that had to deal with me being tough but firm on why I couldn't see Bears versus Bath. And
well, they were giving you the runaround.
Right. They were giving me the runaround, but they couldn't say was that, but dumbass, this isn't even being televised in England. So we don't have a broadcast to give you. Fair. But and I also understand why they didn't know that. So I mean, like I said, I wasn't being a dick. I wasn't, I'm nice to people like that because they have to deal with people who aren't happy and it's not their fault. They're not the ones responsible for it.
No, they're not the ones cocking.
It was just one of those, like the one I got timed out because he didn't respond to me in time. He's like, let me check on that. And then 5 minutes passed and it booted me out.
Dude.
I was like, oh. So the second time around, every so often I'd be like, hey, do you have an update? Just to make sure I didn't. And I was like, he had to deal with that. But I was only doing it because I didn't want the same thing to happen.
Yeah, same.
So anyway, apologies, guys. But damn, sucks that those weren't broadcast.
No, it totally does.
That makes me thirsty.
We'll get there. Yeah, let's get some beers. Find us on your favorite podcast app, which you're probably listening to on right now. But share, download, rate, review, all that good stuff. What you got there, Chief?
I got a Doom sauce from the makers of Boom Sauce because it's the Halloween season. So it's
hobo.
Right.
The hobo of lords.
Lord Hobo. I saw the Doom sauce and I was like, oh, you know what? I got to try that.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, my neighbors gave me a gift for watching their dog, and I told you the story about the dog almost falling out the window, didn't I?
Yes.
Making sure the dog didn't fall out the window. So that my gift was a nice little 4-pack of really good beer.
Nice.
I'd like to think that if Taz was in trouble, they would have done the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll go with one day, just return the favor and make sure he doesn't die, please.
Right. I mean, although I could easily imagine Taz falling out a window.
He's crashed through. You know that like gate thing that we were talking about that my wife was putting together? He's crashed through it. He went right. He saw a squirrel and bam, right through the thing. I was like, I told you that wasn't going to hold him.
Right.
Like anyway that hasn't seen my dog. He is a 60-pound chunk and he moves like the wind. So he's just a bowling ball waiting to happen. And he has no regard for himself. He just says fuck it and YOLO right through everything. It's
funny, like and he's super friendly and good natured. He's just an oaf. And like, because it's funny, we have like two kind of similar type personality dogs, except mine's way more timid. Kylie has always been like very I'll try stuff, but if I know it's wrong, I won't do it. Whereas Taz is more of I don't give a shit, right? And although he's still got that puppy in him.
Yeah, he's still got a little puppy in him, but no, he's mostly good. But yeah, so that's the story of the dogs. Getting back to the more important things or semi more important things. Buy our good friend George, the Fantasy Rugby Geek, a beer, because if you won your fantasy week this weekend, I would wager that he had something to do with it. And also he definitely was stressing about getting that thing up because of certain things going on with his own travel. So buy the man a beer so we can relax, okay? So we can chill out. But yes, give him a beer, coffee, whatever the hell you want to call it, and I'm sure he'd appreciate that very much.
Yes, he would.
As always on this podcast and in rugby, there's no room for discrimination or in life at all. So we were talking about one thing we'll talk about later is a clip from BT Sport, but unfortunately, the Lalios got it wrong where he's saying, and maybe he just didn't understand what he was saying, but in which case he needs to be slapped. But The inclusivity of the sport. It's especially in England and a few other places. I don't think we can say that's really the case because we have inclusivity with our trans players, and that's happening globally, unfortunately, as well. And initially the movement towards the ban was rejected by a lot of rugby unions, and now it seems to be being accepted slowly. And I don't understand what the change happened was. So now I'm getting really annoyed. RFU's kind of stayed pat where they were, which fuck them, but still just the same.
USA Rugby is kind of moving backwards in a way too. I mean, USA is moving backwards, so that's kind of,
in general.
Yeah, and it's just like the worst part is you ask the women's teams, and like they're all, as far as I have seen, I have not seen a single women's team. I mean, maybe some individual players who are like, yeah, I don't like it because that's they're the whole political angle, but the players, most players that I've ever seen are like, no, this is for everyone. Like, this is not, we're not scared. But it's always, and it's generally men who are like, well, this isn't fair. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, you really don't get this. Like, if you really think it's that bad, like, you don't get the sport at all.
No, and and we said this back when we talked with Jess as well. Like, the people they did not talk to about this whole thing were women's players in clubs. Like, did you actually ask the people that this affects the most? No, you didn't. You just said, screw it, we're going to do it anyway because we're a bunch of old white angry motherfuckers.
And not only that, but you're speaking for them. Like, you didn't listen to them, and then you claim to be speaking for them. And how, like, I don't know how you can say it's inclusive when you're like, well, these people feel this way. And it's like, well, do they?
No,
like,
they don't.
Let's see like,
do they really?
Yeah. Like, it's just a bad excuse for a bad policy, and they know it. So, yeah, well,
it's just really silly.
So at this point, we need to. It's up to people like Delalio to speak up, especially in the position he was in that that particular individual, to say, if we're inclusive, this needs to be part of the inclusivity.
Yes,
like that. Even if it's at very least a little, like, a light-handed slap of it, because there's more important things to talk. There were more important things to talk about there. It's just that when you bring up inclusivity, now it's got to be brought up. You brought it up. All right,
now we got something to be mentioned.
It wasn't part of the discussion, but now it is. So
as soon as you open your mouth and say that word, you now have to at least have some sort of offhand mention of it at minimum. And then maybe you can talk about it off camera. Hey, maybe we can discuss this another time. Let's get to that.
Yeah, exactly that. Or even say that right there. It's like, well, no, the inclusivity discussion is for another, let's not even just say that out loud. Like, let's not have that,
put it on the table for everyone to see so they can hold you accountable.
Exactly.
That would be a hell of an idea, but hey, call me crazy.
But I also feel like it was a little weaselly to bring it up in a discussion where that really was not because you're trying to grow. You can't have a fight in a panel where you're trying to talk about growing the game. You can't have two guys going at each other.
No, you don't want that.
So it's kind of like I can say whatever the fuck I want in this space kind of thing. So that I don't appreciate.
Yeah, you just hope that he is more mindful of it and looks back on it and says, shit, I really spit the bit when I opened my mouth on that one. It's all you can hope for at that point. Otherwise somebody's got to talk to him and say, hey, remember this whole thing? We need to actually talk about it next time. Less unhappy things. Grab our Patreon because we're going to start putting out some content soon here. Data should be coming next week, if not the latest the week after. But
it's not too valuable this week anyway. So
no, it's not going to be a big deal this weekend. I'm sure everybody can
you can see all the points that are there. They've a sample size of one.
I am actually doing my damnedest to at least compile meters and tackles and tackle stats. So we'll see what happens with that. There may be a point where it's like, this is too much, but I will do my damnedest to compile that in a nice, easy place for it to be seen with because FRD does do it, Like you can sort it in those ways, but you only get 20 odd at a whack. And hopefully with our sheet, you can see the top 50, 100 tacklers if you just sort it right. So that's my plan. And I know there's a lot of stat nerds out there like Ben and I, so I'm sure they would be anxious to see some of these numbers. So
I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see, that. And if, other numbers like try assists and,
yeah, those can be viewed fairly easy for the sake of like who's at the top.
That's usually. Right. I'm looking for, not so much the top, but like that's the problem. You only see the guys at the top if you go to the Prem page.
Yeah, that I don't like about the Prem page. Like you see the top, what, 5?
Yeah.
Sometimes
like that. Sometimes I've seen to 10 or so.
Okay. All right. That'd be nice. Yeah. But anyway, so grab our Patreon. There is a new post up there from this guy right here. Booms, busts, and whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, but that's just what I see for now. But yeah, there's that. And then welcome to our newest patron, Stuart. We appreciate you, Stuart, for diving in and hanging out with us and supporting us, because every bit of support we get from you all helps.
Right.
We don't expect to be paid this to be a paid gig unless somebody from American Sports wants to give us a phone call. Other than that,
I'd be okay with that. But
I'd be okay if they don't, honestly. Some of these networks blow. But otherwise, we appreciate the little support we can, because we do this because we care, and it is helpful for us to know that we're making a little change here and there. All right. Speaking of change, Worcester
and helping people.
Yeah. Worcester Rugby could have a lifeline. Nothing is 100% sure, but the news looks good so far. Let's put it that way. It started yesterday and it's trickled into today. Because they were talking about like at the end of the month, they need to have a solution. And obviously nobody wants to see this club go into administration, because whether they get a new owner or not, because you lose so much. You really do. And unfortunately, the last club I can think of that went into administration was London Welsh, unless somebody else can correct me. And that was a total disaster. They are not even. They're just an average bang on club now. They're not a professional club. They're not a semi-professional club. And as far as I know, they barely exist. So nobody wants that again. It was that was a man. I still remember that season, that second season they were in the Premiership, and they were horrid. It was at 1 point, and that was just like the tip of the whole iceberg.
I don't remember. I was one of those, like I was able to follow the Prem a little bit at some point, and then wasn't. And then by the time I came back to it, or maybe it was even the Champions Cup where I would see them. So I knew that there was London Irish and London Welsh, and then when I actually started like following like the Prem, they were gone.
They were. Yeah, I mean that whole thing was just the tip of the iceberg. Worcester has a lot more to hang on to, I would say, and thankfully it looks like they're going to be able to. And it's only good things, and it's not like this is just a bad owner. It really is that they're getting away from. So hopefully, whatever problems they have will turn things around, and these new investors will see opportunity, and they will see the good that this club brings to a lot of people. And we were talking about last week about put butts in seats. All right, that's fine. We know we got to put butts in seats at 6 ways. Can be done, but they won't have the opportunity.
Some fucking tries, but
that'd be helpful. That is helpful. So hopefully that turns around. But in any case, the fact that there is a lifeline seemingly coming is only good news, and hopefully it's hard to play with. You have that over your head. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And you could see that there was and we'll get to that match, but it was emotional. The Worcester players were extra dickish. Or I shouldn't say dickish. That's not right. They were extra sensitive. So they overreacted to things, good and bad. It was, you could, I don't want
to, they're on edge,
Right. Exactly. That they were certainly playing on that kind of on it, like with very raw.
From what I read and understand, this week, all the back wages will be paid.
Yes, that's what they're saying. Is
So
that if
even
they,
if things don't quite get the dotted line signed on, at least they can sit the staff, the players can all sit back and say, all right, our checks are here. I'm no longer worrying about how I'm going to feed my family, all that shit. That is
right.
an awful feeling. So that is the upside to that. And hopefully the good news continues to come. Put all the good juju out there for them guys, because as bad as their rugby might have been, we do not want this club going under.
No.
We want to finish the season with 13. I think it was Nick Mullins that said something about it. I was like, yep, exactly. The most important thing right now is that we finish the season with 13 teams, regardless of who finishes where.
Right.
We also have on the docket here, we had what was the guy's name? Geez, I just saw it. The Prem Rugby exec come on to BT Sport, and we got to see the interview because they tweeted it out. Simon Massey Taylor. Yeah. So there were lots of bits that were tweeted out, and the one bit that caught my attention the most was talking about growing the game. And I feel like he's kind of going on about the same things they've been going on about for a while.
Yep.
And there's not been a whole lot of results. So my thoughts obviously were a little, I was a little annoyed. I was like, so you're not really changing your policy, was what it sounds like. The same topics, the same problems still face the league and rugby in general. We're obviously talking about the league specifically right now. And I know a lot of people are talking about, more free to air games, and I don't argue with that. I understand they need to make a buck. But putting on one free to air game a week could easily get you, a few more fans every day.
Right. And so, to me, that video was a lot. And as you're saying, even if it wasn't something that they'd been talking about forever, and it was saying the same things that they've been saying forever, there was no, here's how we're going to do it. There was no, we need to get people more involved. We need to make it an event. Okay, well, what do you make it? How do you make it an event? How do you make it special? How do you do that? Like, how do you make the games big? Like, they really need to start following the NFL model of how they, do that, which is, and as we were saying before this comes on, you go to, or, you follow NFL Twitter, you follow any NFL account or whatever on Twitter. On Sunday, you go on there and there's just tweet after tweet of, oh, look at this amazing touchdown pass. And it's like, hey, yeah, he caught the ball. Like, congrats. Like, okay. Like, yeah, that was a nice move. Anything but special, it wasn't but they're building it up and it's a big thing. And that goes to, I will say, as much as I have a very love-hate relationship with Rugby Inside Line, which is certainly, I think, better than your opinion towards them. But this is why they right. They put out this the views on the club accounts, where it was Ellis Genge's first try had 190K views, 190,000 views. The Anyanwu try had 180,000. Genge's second try had 102. Like, just right there. And it's like, but you have to, like, I only was fortunate enough to stumble upon the Genge tries. Like, they just happened to come across my feed, even though I follow pretty much I interact a lot with rugby Twitter. The Anyanwu, I saw it live. It was fucking amazing. It was ridiculous. I didn't even see it on Twitter, but I also didn't even see it posted on Twitter. So this gotta, England Rugby has to post them. Premiership Rugby has to post them. Like, yes, I know their content, whatever, may be licensed, but you got to own that license and get that out there. And boost engagement with the sport. And there's the other thing is, even if you don't want to make all rugby live to watch, I come from a time, and it feels weird being like, considering the culture that we're in now, I come from a time when you could watch maybe 3 football games on a Sunday. You'd get, I'm from Philadelphia, so we get the Eagles, whatever game they're playing, you pretty much get. And then at most, you got the late 4 p.m. match. There was no Sunday night football. It didn't exist. So you either got to watch the Eagles and then another team after that or before it, whatever, and then one broadcast on the other one, and then Monday Night Football. So you could watch a total of 4 games in a week. Now, like, you have access to all these things. There's the NFL Network. I know the Prem Network is, that's not going to happen, but at least you can do something on it, start producing certain videos like
On a
that.
smaller scale, yeah.
Right. But make it an event. Sunday, look, what's the best football game of the week? It's
The one that they bill the highest is Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football, and that's free to air. That's on NBC
Mm-hmm.
over the air. They make it accessible, and they try to make it so that it's the best game. They can flex games into it.
Yes. Yeah. After what, week 5?
I think maybe 10 or so like that. So
Okay.
that way they know who's good.
They know,
and so they know the
that
matchups.
That makes sense.
Like do that. Like make a game that's free to air on a night. Make it a night game. Make it something where you're like, it is an event and it's special. And then also, to me, I'm sorry, I'm going to go off on this.
Mm-hmm.
How many game weeks are there this year? 26. Like,
yes, I believe so.
How important can any one match be if it's one of 25 or 24? Like,
right. And that has the answer to that does lie within the Premiership's control, and that is we have to bring back relegation and promotion, because then matches get really important. Now, as somebody that's a Premier League fan, I can tell you I am cheering for every fucking Fulham goal because I want to survive and stay in the Premier League. That means I am watching every match that I can possibly watch for Fulham. Thankfully, I have Peacock, so as long as I'm in front of the TV, I can watch it. So, it's the same. You might not get the same exact type of thing, but you'll get damn close to it. And the fact that they've just kind of relegated all these teams to not being worthy of being Premiership ready, do some fucking work to get them ready. Help them. Right. Don't just sit on your hands and say you're not Premier League ready, Premiership rugby ready. So we're just going to sit on your hands and wait for you to be ready. Right. Help them. Bring them along. The whole point of growing the sport is to get more teams to be better. It would be nice that, if when we get back to this, whatever team that drops out of the Premiership isn't such a fucking automatic go right back up. Yeah. It really would be nice. I can tell you, and again, speaking from experience with footy, every time Fulham drops, I'm like, can we get back up? And I am just like so on pins and needles. When's we get back happen? Up? Yeah. And there was a point where they dropped and they didn't get back up for like freaking 6 years. And trust me, I was the most annoyed person. So, you need that type of competition in your second tier, and you don't have it right now. Right. You really don't.
But to me, I'm also thinking like, how many? So they want to hype heroes of the game. Okay, how many matches overall, aside from, rivalry matches are every sport has them. You still got to find a way to make them bigger than they are. And that's failing right now because there's 24 matches. So it's not a huge deal. To me, start with, bring in divisions like, or conferences where you're playing each of your opponents, each of you people in your division twice, and then you play the other team once. And then it's, instead of 24 matches, now you're looking at like 17, and everything's a lot tighter, or 18. It's there's or even maybe less than that, because you're only playing once on the other side. So whatever it is, I haven't done the numbers, but like, then expand the playoffs, because you only have a semifinal and a final, and it's like,
I think
how many
you gotta
get these guys playing in big games,
right?
Like, big players come up with big play, like they come up with that's where the plays matter. Like, if somebody scores an amazing, like all the tries that Marcus Smith scored 2 years ago, that meant nothing compared to what he did against Bristol, and then again against Exeter.
And then in the final, yep.
But he's only played in a few of those matches, a couple of, like, that shouldn't be the way it is. Like, he should be in multiple playoff. Like, you want to highlight these guys. You don't want to just be like, yeah, like they'll play really well against, Bath, yay. But it matters more when it's like when it's win or go home. That's when you really see, hockey is too long. Nobody really cares about the regular season. But then fucking half the league makes the playoffs, but it's still awesome. The hockey playoffs are the best playoffs. Rugby needs to, I know, like, playoff expansion has got to happen, because they need to get more. That's where the intrigue really happens. That's where you put your balls on the table and see who's got the hammer.
Right. I think for me, I could meet halfway with the playoff expansion, and then I would be able to have some sort of compromise with having the Champions Cup be 8 teams, if that were the case.
Yeah.
And couple that with, let's bring in a 14th Premiership team.
Right.
And make sure we have promotion and relegation. I think.
Yes.
And you don't necessarily, and maybe we can cut down the schedule to like 22-20. I think that's probably where you're going to probably land in that semi-sweet spot.
Right. 20, I think, would be right where you want it.
Right. Because you're not going to be able to play every team. If you have 14 teams, you're not going to be able to play everybody every week, every other, like twice. Simple as that.
Right.
You're going to have to figure that out. Especially where it's week, especially where you only play on Saturdays and you have to fit the Champions Cup in. You know, Premier League has something a little bit easier where they have a lot of midweek games. That's why they're able to shove in 19 games, or 19 opponents home and away. So it ends up being 38. That's a lot. Would never work for Premiership, and I totally agree with that. So yes, I think if we got to the 14th team, whoever it is, Bedford, Donny, Ealing, you cut the schedule to, in terms of number of games regular season wise, to about 20, 22, somewhere in that sweet spot. And then you had 6 teams that make the playoffs. And you're probably just going to have to, honestly, you probably have to go straight up standings, but that's how it is. And then eight. I will live with a 14 team league and 8 teams making Champions Cup. I will compromise with that. So I think that is one model that could work going forward. So I think we've just solved all your problems, PRL. So come get us.
But also have something like a Sunday night football. Like
have a marquee game,
Saturday night, Saturday.
Game. I agree.
Right. The two, the matches that we see end at like, dinner time, like maybe 7 p.m. That is when they end. I think 5 to 7.
12. I think a 12 because Premier League has a 12:30 game on Saturday, and that's like usually a big game.
Yeah.
It's definitely usually one of the big ones. So I think similar, 12, 1 o'clock, somewhere in that neighborhood. Not too. I think going on the earlier side is better because you still want the kids to be able to go. You still want families to be able to go and have it not be too late.
So start at like 7 p.m. or so. It's done by 9.
Don't have everything be a 10 o'clock window.
Right. So it's I think that would help as well. And it isolates one match, and like you said with Sunday Night Football, where they, the league flexes, they make it a high profile match. Like you want, and that used to be Monday Night Football. It used to be like, oh, you got to play on Monday night. Your team got to play on Monday Night Football. Everybody in the country is watching your team play, and that was a big thing, and that was also free to air. Like they did the free to air special games, so
and it worked.
Yeah, it's huge, and rugby needs to. That's how you create the mystique. That's how you create these moments that
everybody watches, everybody sees, and everybody talks about.
Right. And that's exactly what this guy was saying he wants. So,
to your point, when did OBJ break Twitter?
Oh fuck! With that catch,
it was Sunday night, wasn't it?
It was either Sunday night or Monday night, or
no, it was one of those. I think it was Sunday. I think it was a Sunday night game in Dallas or against Dallas. Doesn't matter.
Antonio Freeman before the Twitters, when everybody saw
yes, what? I remember that one. I had a friend that was a Vikings fan, and they were so pissed.
I thought you'd like that one.
That was a good one. Yep. He did what?
Like these moments are made. Like the call. Call.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's
the moment.
That's as much of the moment as anything.
Yep.
Like
agreed.
You don't. Those don't just happen. Like they don't happen at a fucking, 10 a.m. our time. 1 p.m. start game. Like nobody gives a shit about the early games. You can have all the highlights. You see them, whatever. It's that one match that or the one game in football where everyone's like, oh, this match. You play big on this game and it matters. Like that. You're making yourself your next contract. Like all sorts of shit. You're getting endorsement deals. Like. This is what creates the stars, is the spectacle. Create the spectacle. It's right there. The game is right there. Use it.
Yeah. And we'll wrap this up as briefly as we can here. And they hit on like the youth, and I'm sorry, the youth isn't necessarily about entertainment. They want fantasy sports.
Right.
Every fucking kid plays fantasy Premier League. They play fantasy football. They play fantasy basketball. Not so much baseball. But point being, those games are played by kids because they see it as their chance to put their favorite players together.
Yes.
Whether or not it makes fucking sense is a different story. But that's still what they love about it. So,
Mhm.
you know, and shit, that's what I did when I was a kid. I was
And
like,
plus,
yeah, I
it's a
want this guy and
hobby,
this
if
guy and
nothing
this
else.
guy.
At this point, it's a fucking hobby.
It's super
It's like,
passive too. It's not that hard.
right,
It's not super hard. I mean, unless you're nerds like you and I, it's
right,
pretty fucking passive. It's like,
yeah. Well,
change
that,
shit. Like, geez, I do our wank ball league and I don't watch
yeah.
the games. So
No, but you don't even have to, because all the information's right there. Like,
right,
we're nerds because we're like, I'm mad because all the shit that I'm used to with fantasy football, all those amenities, none of them are present for rugby. So it's like, all right, let's just make it. Fuck
right.
it. Somebody's got it. Like, I'll do it myself. Fuck you.
Fuck
Like,
you. I'll do it myself.
but that's still, like, again, then we get back to the stats, and yeah, the stuff we've gone over before. Like, you make the stats
Available.
sacred, and you make them available, and you make them something that the point of achievement.
And they've and they're not available. Premiership does highlight certain aspects of the stats, but you need to make them more available. You need to make beyond top 5, top 10. You need to make everybody know, like, you know, where is my favorite player in meters game? Where is my favorite, you know, flanker or midfielder in terms of tackles? Like,
right.
That stuff, you know, and God, you and I were gushing over the Free Jacks guys that were all top 5 in tackles. Like, that's the type of shit you want, you know? So just take note. We have all your problems over here, PRL. Just come find us.
It's right in front of you. So, like, this is what we want to do. Okay, well, here, if two fucking knuckleheads like Jared and I can see this shit, how do you not see it?
Say, where the hell you been?
Right. Wake the fuck up. Like, it's almost like they don't want, like, they would rather be like, oh, we're in the struggle. We're stiff up with it. Chip.
Yeah, some people just love to talk about the struggle. It's like, shut up.
Just stop. Let it go and just do the thing. It's right there.
True story.
I apologize to all my England haters right now who are mad at me for what I just said. That was that was a really bad impression of English attitude, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm American.
They know you suck at it, so it's okay.
It's all right.
They're aware of it.
I have a lot worse to say about our country, so
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, same here.
Putting it all in perspective.
All right. Let's jump into the opening weekend.
The actual rugby. Thank you.
So we'll go to
I missed this.
Sandy Park. Exeter and Leicester. We'll get this out of the way. Unfortunately, it seems Exeter is still a bunch of racist motherfuckers, despite the logo change.
Yeah, well, you're always going to have the people who are on it, who are.
There was a point where a lot of the stadium was doing it, unfortunately, and that's really sad to hear. Yeah, so I got a little pissy with that one. I was like, fuck you guys. Anyway, but to the Ruggers. It wasn't an especially, you know, entertaining match for the most part. But this is kind of what we're used to with Exeter in terms of what they do.
Right.
So it was kind of a hello moment to wake everybody up, and obviously they beat the champions, so that's a huge landmark in some ways.
Yeah, you beat the champions, but it's not the same team, and especially this team. Like, so here is my thought coming into this: is that this is a match that Exeter needed to win a lot more than Leicester did. Just, you know, the Leicester don't have their A side. I mean, they don't have Freddie Burns. We love Freddie Burns on the pod. Don't get us wrong. It's a shadow of Freddie Burns that we're used to seeing.
Right.
At this point, and it's not bad. He's not in like Roethlisberger territory where you're just like, this guy can't do it. No, he can play. I mean, he was the fly half for the championship, and won the match, so he can do it.
Right.
But at the same time, you know, again, that was a championship match where he's going to step the fuck up. This is a week 1 match, and it was very much week 1 all around. But especially in this, and yeah, so the team that really needed it and wanted it more won. I thought, the rugby wasn't so great, but good on Exeter for winning it because they really needed to, but also not the most impressive win because, you know, no Genge, no,
no Pollard right now,
no real fly. Yeah, the fly half isn't the international quality.
Nope. Jasper's away right now as well.
Right.
Montoya's away. So there's a little bit, and I know Exeter were missing guys too, but Nick Dolly's hurt. That sucks. He'll be out for a little while longer, unfortunately.
Yeah, but like the selections didn't make sense for. I mean, you still fucking dealt with. Did Ian Witten get 80 minutes?
Yes.
What the fuck? I mean, come on.
Yeah, Kata came off for
Why?
O'Loughlin.
And Kata was excellent. That was impressive.
Yeah, actually was bad.
That try was good.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, I still don't know what the hell people see in Jack Noel. No shocker there.
Was he even on? I mean, I saw him on the lineup. I didn't really see him on the pitch.
Yeah, he didn't do a whole lot. Capstick, very ordinary, unfortunately, and he's my guy, and that sucks.
He's our guy. Yeah, we both like him, and
yeah,
he was not
very ordinary. So yeah, when it feels like dumbass Dave is making a huge impact on the game, it's gone wrong.
Yeah, and I didn't even think he was, but he was around. Schickerling, I thought this kid
helmet. I don't like him. I'm not a fan.
He puts up big tries, so I'm always
he's playing. That's because of the team he's playing in. Honestly, I think he's a complete buffoon. Like, nope, pass, hard pass. Him touring with England this summer was stupid.
Yeah.
But while we're on props, Dan Cole actually had a pretty good day, all things considered.
He did.
All things considered. Assisted on the Liebenberg try and charged down the kick on top of it and had the wherewithal to gather it and get rid of it. So credit to him. Not going to be back in the England team anytime today, but certainly a huge piece of what Steve Borthwick is trying to do with this team. So, and one name I'll throw out there, and when I mentioned it in my column, not a huge fan of this guy by any means whatsoever, but George Martin was all over the place in terms of defense. So I got to give him props and just say, all right, if you keep turning in that type of performance and you start to do other things on top of it, all right, now you're definitely international worthy. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see that.
All right. Jumping around. Not the House of Pain. We'll go over to Community Stadium over in Brentford at the G-Tech. I don't like that name. That's stupid. But anyway, I'm just going to call it Brentford anyway. Barnesy had the whistle, and it was a nice reception for Worcester from the London Irish supporters, which was great to see. It's good to see that everybody recognizes what this club is going through. And so I was just really pleased to see that in terms of, just general support that these guys really need. So I enjoyed it. It was a good-hearted moment for me, that's for sure. And then the game happened, and things went kind of sideways.
Yeah, I mean, like I said when we were talking about Worcester, like, you got to score tries. There was a time where they had like multiple entries into the 22, and like not a point, and it was, if I remember correctly, because like what's his name, Shilcock got down there pretty early and then turned it over. It was just like that same business, trying to do too much. Like he tries to get up and reset and then gets called for holding on because the ruck was already there and all he had to do was fucking chill out and they would have kept going. They're trying too hard to score tries rather than letting it happen. And fuck, it's annoying. And I didn't watch past half because I was like, oh, this game's over. It's like, I mean, it was like 19-0, and I'm like, no, they're not. They don't have 19. Worcester don't have 19 points in them. So
no, that's not really their thing. Shilcock did get one over at the end of the game. It was really just the London Irish show for a little while. Harry Arundel came on and scored 2 tries in 33 minutes or something like that. Like, absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. It's like, okay, this is why he toured. And we saw it obviously when he scored for England against Australia as well in that in that other match, in that I think it was the first test he scored in.
Let's be honest. Ben Donnell scoring the opening try. That game's over. It's like, oh, Ben Donnell scoring in this match. Okay, it's gonna be that kind of,
I see where we're going here. Yeah. So
I mean, of all the people who can score tries on the team and who did, I mean, fuck, Hassel Collins,
Will Joseph got one over.
Arundel with 2. Ben White is good, and Creevy scored. All of those people scoring tries. Yes, okay, you got beat. Ben Donald scoring? No, you got
No,
fucked. Like,
you fucked.
yeah,
I
all right,
thought so. For and me personally, two guys that kind of stood out in terms of just making stupid plays for
mhm.
Worcester, and I'm sure this was somewhat down to emotion, was Joe Batley and
Yeah,
their quote unquote new captain Cameron Neal. I don't get why.
I don't know
I
what
have a
just
problem with Dimes naming him
Diamond
as captain.
likes him.
While
Yeah,
I know I understand Hill's out, but like Matt Kovacic's, you're one of the like heart and soul guys.
yeah,
Why wouldn't you name him as the captain? Like,
right. And Neil isn't good.
no, he was just falling all over the ball left and right, and then he got you
Yeah,
started yelling at Barnesy. I was like, nope, that's not the thing to do, buddy. That is
right. And
not the thing to do.
you're not gonna win that.
Nope, especially against Barnesy.
Right.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
And so yeah, it was he's not. I don't know why you'd make him a captain
Nope.
of that team. Like that's not. He's a new signing. Like you don't bring
Right.
somebody like
Doesn't
in
make
this
sense.
situation. You got to know better. So this is where as much as Diamond made himself a sympathetic figure recently. No, fuck him. Like
That's unhelpful there. Yeah.
this is where you have the wrong coach.
Mm. Yeah. Poor, very poor. Let's go to the team. Newcastle
This
and
match,
Quins.
holy shit!
This match was everywhere. For all money, I thought freaking Newcastle had this actually,
right?
and they totally bottled it.
Yeah, they did. That was
Totally bottled it.
okay. I don't know if they bottled it or if Harlequins just decided because I thought Harlequins were
decided to start
sleepwalking for a little
playing.
bit, and then it was like, oh wait, McGuigan gets over and Radwan goes for his run, and then okay, I think once Nathan Earl scored, I think Harlequins are like, fuck, okay, no, like nothing against Nathan Earl, but like this is probably his first try in like 5 years or something like that. So
it's been a bit, yeah.
Like that's when you got to be like, oh, no, okay, if Nathan Earl's popping, like it's kind of like the Ben Donald thing, like, oh wait, no, we're in this situation. Fuck no, this ain't happening.
Right, yeah. Lockerbie Mullapola fell over as
Yeah,
well.
right. Much to the crowd's delight, the crowd loved him. They
He's a
gave him
lovable guy. He's a
they
lovable
gave him
character.
a cheer when he came in, like,
Yeah.
and then let alone when he scored.
Yeah, he's a lovable character. He also might be done at the end of this year.
Yeah, probably.
Which wouldn't shock me in any way, shape, or
No.
form. There, and we talk, unfortunately, in terms of like, the fantasy game and such, anybody that picked a back three player for Quins usually does well. Well, if you picked Caden Merle, you picked the wrong one because the other two had days.
Right.
Nick David and Tyrone Green.
Yeah. That's the
but you have to take that chance, honestly.
Right.
Right. One of them's not going to have a day.
Right. That's what happens. There's only enough ball for two of them. Ultimately, well, there's ball for three of them, but it's just the two of them are going to go off.
Well, Anyanwu took the other one, so
he did. Oh, that try! I mean, literally coast to coast.
Yeah,
just the hard way.
Definitely the hard way, but hey, he got it done. I was like, okay. So the Quins have Luke Northmore, they have Joe Marchant, and they have Andre Esterhazen. That's not fair. That's not fair. That was, this.
Well, I mean, and then they also have Dom Brandt and Kenningham and
Evans,
Wev, and like it just goes on.
Yeah, it's
and Wilco Lowe, who's apparently now he's back in form. BB8 is active again.
Two balls on top of each other.
Yeah,
the head and the body. One person I want to point out for the sake of Newcastle was the guy that started at scrum half, Josh Barton. I thought he performed very, very well, and showed some good quality. Hopefully, this means the end of Mickey Young, because I see nothing beneficial about continuing to play this guy.
Of course,
honestly. Not. He can bring the pups along and wipe their noses, but that is about the most use he's going to be right now. So, especially when you have a problem at 10 where you don't have anybody super high quality.
Yeah.
Let's let the quality show out in one of the halfbacks, at least, where you have three viable options in most people's opinion with Calametti, this kid, and then Sam Stewart. If I don't think Sam Stewart's healthy right now, but point being, you have quality options. Don't bring in a non-quality option when you have, Brett Connon and Gian Skuman, who neither is going to light the earth on fire by any means.
Right.
So you got to just, let's play the kids that are shining well and not worry about, hurting feelings at the moment. Especially if you're Newcastle and you want to get somewhere away from the bottom end of the table.
It's just a shame that Yeah, it's a shame that their best 10 is now with Wasps and not going to play there for some. I don't get it. I don't get that move.
He was obviously, I would say he's probably annoyed about something. That would be my
Yeah,
guess.
exactly.
Yeah, that'd be my wild shot in the dark. Um, we won't be able to
Oh yeah,
talk
but
about this
Adam
match.
Radwan is also very good.
Yeah, that helps. That definitely
Like
helps.
I think, and so is George McGuigan,
Yeah,
who put
and
two over
it's keeping Blamire out of the front row and in the back row
at
right now.
flanker. Fuck. And I thought Blamire showed pretty well.
He did.
For so fuck.
Not bad in a pinch. Not bad in
Yeah,
a pinch at all.
so yeah. Like I'm sorry for gushing over Quins as much as I did, but no, Newcastle definitely deserve a shout because yeah, they I thought they were going to win
Right.
for a while there.
Same. Samesies. Yeah, let's jump over to Ashton Gate, and not much we can really get into about this because obviously we didn't watch it.
Yeah.
We know some of the things that happened. Obviously, Ellis Genge got loose as we thought would happen.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a brouhaha on the sideline in which Niall Annette started his Bath career by getting red carded without seeing a minute on the field. That's not really how you endear yourself to fans.
Not so much.
that'll sting, and he's going to be out for at least another game. So
yeah, but I think in a match like this, you kind of you might endear yourself. You're not, you're gonna. Although, yeah, the red card's not good, but
yeah,
the whole like I'm sticking up for my team against the Bears. Yeah, that it's one of those like you shouldn't have done that, but good on you, kid, kind of thing. Like
yeah,
you stuck it to him.
Was not your brightest move,
but no, not smart in general.
No, not at all.
So like, here's my question because we've seen this before. We saw Joe Marler get sent off from the touch line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if that caused. So did Bath have to go down a man? Or is that just a red? Like he can't play. He
can't play because he's been sent from the bin. He's never appeared on the field, so I think it's okay. Because I remember this happened. Saracens against Exeter, if I remember right. They didn't lose a player, but this player also got suspended. So that's being that being really the consequence of it is you're not allowed to come in. So if Exeter had a problem in the front row, they would have been fucked.
So same with Bath if they had gotten
if they had a problem, same thing.
Or the hooker
Tom Dunn had to play 80. That's just how that landed.
Although he can do that, so it's ultimately not the end of the world.
No.
Although that haircut cannot play 80. I'm sorry, I cannot wait. It's like what?
It's supposed to be being cut soon for charity. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it's around this time in October, so I hope so. I love you, Dunn, but goddamn, that is some
barf. Somebody threw up on the back of his head. So and then of course our boy AJ kicks the winner after
of course he does
pushover try. I don't think Sheedy did himself any favors now that AJ McGinty's in town. It sounds like he didn't necessarily play particularly well. Plus he got binned, which was stupid.
Right, in the same the same binnage that got on it. Yeah.
Yep. Dumb and dumb some more. Don't do it, man. Say no.
Yeah.
Bad. Let's head over to Kingsholm. This was a game match on Sunday. God damn, we were entertained.
Only points were scored at one end. If you were on the other end of the pitch, you never saw a point. You never saw anything happen in your tries. The
field was tilted a little bit.
Yeah.
Still a wee bit. Yeah, I mean, Wasp came out firing, and they've had their own problems in the offseason, obviously. So good to see them kind of just shake it off and come out with some gusto. Charlie Atkinson might have just claimed that 10 shirt because right now it is complete. In my opinion, it is really up for grabs at Wasp. Jacob Mubaga has not done enough to claim that 10 shirt. Will Haydenwood obviously came here with a point to prove. So he's there. And Charlie Atkinson was their 10 riding out the end of the year last year. So lots to claim for all three of these guys. And right now Atkinson's the front runner. So and with good reason.
Right. And I really want to see Umaga at 15 there. Because I thought he played excellent at 15 with Atkinson at 10. So I can't wait to get that out. I'm not sure why that we're not going to see that for a little bit.
Nice. I think he's got a calf problem. Umaga does.
Well, then that's why we're not going to see that for a bit.
Yeah. Hopefully better by next month.
Because like I thought going back to that, Joe Simmons, I thought played really well from 15.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And then who ordered the burger?
Meister Burger.
Yeah, and not a known entity to you or I, and not necessarily to a lot of people that are Premiership fans, but anybody that's been watching the Blue Bulls will tell you that he's been doing it, and he showed it, and certainly worth the billing coming in now, at least for now. But damn, exactly. That was pretty good, just the same. So I give him loads of credit for also coming in and trying to stand in some certain shoes.
There's this guy. He's really fast. I don't know if you've heard of him, Lewis.
Oh my god!
Fucking A.
And you and I, you and I were saying, like, is he well? He got caught.
Yeah, he got caught. Like, he did not. Yeah, what? I hope he's all right. But
yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, how the hell did he get caught?
Like, usually, like they were all running towards the try line, but he's getting further away from the other guys.
Right.
This was the opposite. This was like and he knew that was happening and still didn't hit that next gear. So I hope he's okay. Maybe he's like, this is week 1. I'm not going to
some of the gas for later.
Yeah. The gas he'll need down the line. So, and he didn't need it for that. He was, obviously he scored anyway. So
yeah, just absolutely coasting. Absolutely crazy.
Freddie Clark is still putting his hand up.
Yep. I still love Freddie Clark. No, you're not going to get me to say otherwise right now. For Gloucester, I'm over Ben Meehan. I have to say, I'm over Ben Meehan. I don't really love a lot of his game. Everybody's like, well, he can kick with 2 feet. Honestly, if that's his best asset right now,
right,
it's not enough for me. I think Varney's hurt, so that's probably. And I know Skibbs has got a crush on this kid, and I know he brought him over from London Irish, and I get that. Somebody's got to slap him in the face and be like, Skibbs, we have better. Chapman definitely needs to start, number 1.
Yeah.
And I think Varney's better. And
yes, he is.
I could be nuts, but I really think he is.
He is. So, no, you're not nuts. He is.
So yeah, I'm over Ben Meehan. There are other clubs that could probably use, some sort of halfback, reserve. I think you got 2 really good ones with Varney and Chapman. So
right.
Should they both be healthy, they should both be in the team, and Meehan be nowhere.
Put it this way: Chapman and Varney should be starting for Gloucester. They are starting and then the reserve. That's your 1-2 punch right there. And yet Meehan should be starting for Saracens because
right.
Anyway, that's just my bitch about Saracens. Anyway, we have because we're not going to get.
We'll see what that first lineup looks like.
Yeah, they're on bye, so
yeah,
nothing to talk about.
So it's the biggest comeback.
Talking about Saracens,
it's the biggest comeback for Gloucester ever, I believe they said, and that is like holy shit moments. 27 unanswered points. Lee Blackett's going to be real fucking pissed. I can tell you that much right now.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
He's going to be given
the 2 yellows back to back.
Unhelpful in so many ways.
Right. Because like the first yellow, yes, that had to come. And then the second yellow had to come because it was a clear like, scoring opportunity and
denial.
You fucked it up.
Like, no choice, zero choice. And I have to get so we were talking about we've talked about some up and coming refs that we kind of like don't have any time for anymore. I thought Anthony Woodthorpe did very well in this game.
I did too.
I don't have anything bad to say about him, and I'm sure both teams have something bad to say about him. But from a neutral's eye, I don't have a lot of bad to say about them, and I can't say that about some of the other ones like Ridley. I had problems with this weekend. We know CMK is not our favorite referee, so. Well, I think we can give Woodthorpe a few more games and see what he does. Maybe he cocks one, okay, but I'd like to see what he can do because we have some referees that need replacing in this league.
They also need to tell. So here's the other thing about tying this match back in with our points earlier about growing the game. You cannot have Austin Healy whining and moaning
Oh, no,
about
no, no,
every
no,
goddamn call by an
no.
official or play or this or that and expect the game to grow. All he does is mourn things and whine about them. That's not going to get butts in the seats. That's like all that's
Hell
going to do
no.
is be like, wow, this league must suck if everything they do is wrong and the like everything the refs do is wrong. It's like, no, like you can't do that.
Nope.
And so yeah, Healy's got and his performance this was bad because this young ref needs support, and all Austin Healy did in the first half was second guess every decision he made, and that's you. It's so bad for the product. You want to talk about having a good product? It's bad for it.
Yeah, not
Not
unhelpful.
okay, and not we can't lose sight of the fact, no pun intended on that one, of as much as all that is the problem. Um, holy kit, no kit. Wasps. I
Loss.
didn't. I did not. It took. I didn't for the whole match. I was like, I don't get who this team is. Like, it's not Wasp. Like, who is like? I couldn't recognize players. I couldn't
Yeah,
recognize what they were
alternate
because I
kit
was like,
not on point.
oh no, put those away and no, it's not you. Like seriously, it's a good kit overall, but it's not Wasp's kit. Like,
No, probably not. I think
yeah,
we can find somebody else
I
to
kept
wear that
thinking I
for a
was
little
watching
bit.
like Worcester or something
Right, right.
because I was
It's
like,
like
it can't be Wasps. It's got to be Worcester.
the ones that freaking Tigers were wearing a couple years ago. It looked like a pack of fruit
Yeah,
stripe gum just exploded
right.
all over it.
Yeah,
I was like, ooh,
totally.
what is this?
Yeah.
Change now.
Yeah, or like that
um,
Harlequins with like the looks like they're bleeding down their belly, like
oh yeah,
kind of
that
thing.
one. Oh man.
No,
But
this is worse
overall,
than no.
it was a very entertaining game overall. Just kind of turn your volume down a little bit. And then the game we another game we couldn't watch. And so now that we've got to this, I do, and I don't have all the knowledge of the situation, and I understand there's certain respects to be paid to the Queen's death, but at the same time, like, is a day or two really that much different than playing it on Friday night and then actually being able to, one, let everybody attend that was
Right.
planning on attending, and two, broadcast it, and three, have a TMO at both of them? Like,
Oh,
all those things,
awful.
like,
Awful.
you've taken a situation that was okay, and you got a green light. From what I understand, they got a green light from the government to do as they saw fit.
Right.
So if they were going to play and do then they did the minute silence and the
Yeah.
a bit of an applause in the anthem, and the black armbands on many teams. I don't, and at no point did any of those feel disrespectful. So why was it different? Would have been different on Friday night. If somebody wants to explain that to me, I'd love to hear it, because
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I legitimately don't understand it, because you made what would have been a fine situation worse in terms of the game.
Right.
I would have loved to watch both these games, honestly, because it sounded like Saints decided
Really
to pull their head out of their ass after after Furbank came on, really. And it's because they got rid of Skosen, who's has been on a bit of a cold streak.
Right. And he got carded anyway, too. So
yeah, that was also not helpful.
Yeah.
But and obviously the Bath Bristol game came down to the death. So
right.
It would have been much better to see these games. You want to talk about growing the game? This is a problem.
Right.
Thankfully, it's only
not
two games, but damn.
Not only that, but with the Premier League already saying what they cut out, and the reaction was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yes, it was.
Like that was the overwhelming
that.
reaction to that.
Yep.
And Prem Rugby made their decision after that, and it's like, whoa! You took the temperature there and saw that it was not good. And you said, okay, well, we'll just postpone that. No, just don't postpone. And plus, go out there. You can be the sport that pays tribute to the Queen first. Your first opportunity, go out there and be like, this is what we're doing. We're paying our respects. I mean, as everybody said, it's not disrespectful. She was 96. Like everybody, like how many times for the last year did you hear reports where you're like, oh, it's over.
Right.
And it's like, we're ready for it. this isn't a thing. It's gonna happen. It's not a it's imminent for the
It's not a
past
heart
year.
attack at 60. It's
Right.
very different.
Exactly. I mean, so
Both
just
sad, but different
right,
reasons.
right. But like, it's not shocking and it's not earth shattering. It's respectful, mournful, celebrate her life and her achievements, whatever you think of the monarchy. I'm not trying to be pro it, but I'm just saying, like, to respect it, you respect it. It's you don't yeah, it's but you do what's right for the game ultimately. And
Yeah, I
especially
think
with
in the end,
Worcester in the straits that they're in, like,
they needed to play.
the financially they need it, and they need to broadcast it. They need to get the money from the broadcast. So
Yep.
and the engagement, as you said,
Yes. Thankfully.
CEO or whatever you are, chief executive.
Yeah. So, but the game in Sale was a game for only about 20 minutes because Northampton decided to pull their heads out of their bums. Collins got one right at the end to kind of make it more interesting, but and give them their bonus point. But it sounds like they just never really got out of their own way. Sale, what was the team stats here? Possession was more in favor of the Saints. They just didn't do anything with it. It sounds like.
Yeah, only 9 clean breaks for that, and Sale had 10.
Yeah, that's if you're matching. If Sale's matching Northampton, something went wrong with Northampton.
Right. So look, these statistics don't make sense. Okay, only 9 clean breaks. All right. 29 defenders beaten. So you beat 29 players and didn't get a clean break, which means you just dodged one person, got tackled by another. 20 offloads. How do you have 29 defenders beaten, 20 offloads, 9 clean breaks? How?
And not get out of your own goddamn way until what, the 65th minute or something like that. Yep, 65th minute is when Tom Collins scored.
Where's I don't know. There's handling statistics.
I don't see
any
of that. Nope. We had the Skosin yellow card, which was obviously unhelpful in a lot of ways. But yeah. Let's see more stats. That's not helpful either.
7 scrums. So there were 7. 7, 8 scrums that you gave up. So not too many handling errors, and then lineouts were even as well. So yeah, lineouts were completely even. 11-3 for both teams. 7-7 scrums won. 1-2 scrums lost. Like, so there's not an inordinate number of like handling errors and shit. You just what'd you do?
They just spit it. That's how it is. Honestly, if I had to guess.
What'd you do?
What did you do, Northampton?
I was thinking, what was it? It was a Tommy Boy. What did you do? I don't know.
Yeah, it was. So overall, I think bit of a Saints lost it and Sale didn't necessarily win it. Although you got to score the tries, and they did score tries. I guess scored 4 of them. So
right,
credit to them. And shit, same type of temperature check. Sam James fucking scored.
Yeah, there it is again. Yep.
There's that as well. So when that starts happening, it needs to be a red flag. Like, what?
Right. And Gus War scored.
Oh, I have more credit for Gus War than I do Sam James.
True.
Personally,
like Luke James and Tom O'Flaherty. Yeah, actually,
yes, that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes
good,
sense.
and I'm glad for Flats to find that pay dirt on his first
outing with the new team. Yep, right. I agree.
Especially with again, we didn't see the match, so I can't tell how he played. But Rob Dupree at 10. The fact that Luke James and O'Flaherty scored. All right.
Move the ball somewhere.
Yeah, obviously he was doing something.
Yeah.
So I think I'm actually trying to pick up Sam James in one of our leagues. I'm that desperate for midfielders.
Godspeed, bro.
But he scored. Hey, he scored 1. Maybe he can do it again.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh, and they're playing Bath this weekend, so that's why I think I did that.
Yes,
that's a little bit different.
That might change a few things here and there. All right. Well, that's week 1. Hooray.
Whew.
We did it.
It was a week 1.
Yeah. Hopefully this is the last week we get too much of the bullshit with, and we can start just, finding ways to better rugby and all that that good stuff. All right, cool. So we are going to head over to Fantasy Time here, Fantasy Corner. If this is where we leave you, we appreciate you hanging out with us. We will be back next week as usual. But if you guys see us over at the Fantasy Corner, we'll see you over there. Until then, we'll catch you guys next time. Have a good one, everybody.
Later.
Cheers.